No niin, tervetuloa takaisin toiselle jaksolle. I have a huge honor to invite our next presenter. Please warmly welcome Viktor. The stage is yours.
Good afternoon. It's really great to be here. Graphisoft. I'm the CEO of Graphisoft. Maybe a few words about me. I joined the company in '92, so pretty long time ago. Probably I was number 35 in the company. And I used to be a software engineer, but I had my university degree from informatics. And the company, on the very first glance, when I first saw them, really attracted me. And practically, the main reason was that it's really something unique what we do. And I can say that we still feel the very same, that something great is going on, and we are very happy to contribute that. And of course, we do it through our customers, through you, because our success is when we see where our customers are successful and love using our product. So when Severi asked me to come here and speak a little bit on this event, especially when one of our longtime partners, probably, I don't know, Severi, you are the number which distributor for us, maybe 5th or 6th or something like that. So Finland for us is a really old market where we started up very early together with MAD in a very close partnership. So I'm very happy to be here and contribute a little bit to this event, and especially celebrating MAD being 30 years old. So Severi asked me to talk a little bit about the company, what we achieved and what we are going to do. So I would like to start with a moment that we are really extremely proud of. I'm sure that everybody in this room knows that what is the Pritzker Prize. That's an award what probably the highest recognition for what an architect can get. So Mr. Balkrishna is the winner last year, and we are very proud to say that his office is a key ArchiCAD customer. And of course, I'm not telling that this success is because of our technology. Absolutely not. He started up his practice way back in the 70s. So obviously, BIM technologies were nowhere that time. So this is a lifetime achievement based on paper and pencil and creative ideas, sketching great buildings, great functionalities. On the other hand, we are really proud that such a great person, such a great company decided to bet the future of their company on us. So that really counts a lot for me. And probably another moment from last year is that I don't know how many of you know what is the Stevie Award. Do you have some information about that? But I'm sure you know what is the Oscar Prize, right? Okay, so the Stevie Award is very similar what the Oscar Award for the movie industry. The Stevie Award is the Oscar for the IT industry. So in 2015, our marketing efforts that how we took, I think that time it was ArchiCAD 19 to the market, that really attracted the world. But that time it was just a bronze. It's great, but that's not gold. So last year we improved, and in 2017 we were really proud to get this award. And of course, this is not just Graphisoft headquarters. This is all about our partner network, probably also our customers voting on us. That this effort or that innovative spirit behind really deserves a recognition. So these are, wow, okay, thank you. And I don't know whether you know it, but Graphisoft belongs to the Nemetschek group. I'm pretty sure that you know that one. I also want to mention that I'm part of those 3 gentlemen or management board who is in the leadership of the Nemetschek group itself, so the parent holding of Graphisoft. And last year, we had another very important milestone. And I think it makes sense to spend a little bit of time on this, that the Nemetschek group last year got to be number 2. Of course, the goal is to be number 1, but being number 2 worldwide on a global basis in delivering software solutions for the design and build industry, focusing on the AEC industry, I think it's really remarkable. Because the world usually believes that there is only one giant, and there is many, many small players. Of course, Finland is different. Here, we are the giant, hopefully. But on a worldwide basis, we see many different voices. But if you can see that who are behind us, this is Oracle, this is Trimble, this is Bentley. So if we calculate the market penetration based on revenues coming from selling AEC software, then the Nemetschek group is an extremely dominant player, being in the very same league, very close to the market leader. So that was a very, very important milestone, which is kind of, I think, a validation of our strategies. So what is the strategy of the Nemetschek group? I'm sure you have heard about OpenBIM. We are a true believer that success is coming from competence. So if somebody is really deep in something, then probably you deliver the best. Instead of going too wide and whatever you deliver is not really going too deep, not so detail-oriented. So that is what driving the Nemetschek group forward. And we have a pretty wide portfolio of products. Some of them are also competing. But that's not really an issue, because competition always just inspires people to do better. I firmly believe that that really helps going forward. On the other hand, we of course building our portfolio of solutions in a very strategic way. If you just take a look on those solutions, those brands that the Nemetschek group acquired, or with other words, these companies joined the Nemetschek group in the last 3-4 years, you can recognize really, really great brands. Just to mention, on the left side, Bluebeam, Rise, and SDS2, those are all market-leading solutions on the US market, really market-leading solutions. Bluebeam, for instance, is used by probably 80% of the construction companies in the US as their CD platform. Or Risa is really dominating the structural analysis marketplace in the US. SDS2 is a prime competitor of Tekla. But probably you know better dRufus and Solibri, who are very close to you. So dRufus is a great tool for early design and then maintenance of buildings. That's a very unique solution developed in Norway. And I'm sure we don't have to talk about Solibri. Solibri is a great solution. They are here. Please take a look and go there. So our portfolio is really developed strategically. And why we believe in these brands? Because, again, if you focus, then you can deliver. Then you develop expertise. Then you really understand your customers. Then you can be very close to the market. And this is what driving the Nemetschek group forward. And this is why Graphisoft is staying focused on architecture, because that is our competence from the very beginning. This is what we believe. The marketplace we can serve the better, and not just from the headquarters, but also in our partner network. In the headquarters of Graphisoft, out of the altogether, Graphisoft is around 600 people worldwide. Out of those, maybe 350 is in the headquarters. And I'm happy to say that at least 20% of those employees are architects by profession, even in the software development team and product design team, the quality assurance team. Even also in the sales team, we have a few people who are educated as architects. Because we believe that by closing together being close to the market, speaking the language of, or trying to speak the language of our customers, that just helps being better. So I want to show you another interesting chart. I'm absolutely not a guy who is driven in my decisions by the stock price. But if you see such a chart that the stock price development of the Nemetschek group is outperforming all of the peers such a way, then that tells something, that we do something right. And hopefully we do, and hopefully that is your understanding as well. Speaking about Graphisoft, in the last couple of years, we have been quite dynamically growing. You know that for us, Europe is the key market. That's where the company has born. So we have a very, very well-established business in Europe. But we are not lazy in the Americas and in Asia either. We are pretty heavily investing over there. We are quite successful as well. So you can see that our growth rate, for instance, our last 5 years average in the Americas is 18%. In Asia, 19%. So we are getting better and better. Okay, so this is about the kind of status. I'm going to speak a little bit about that, what inspires us, what you can expect from Graphisoft in the next couple of years, what are in the center of our strategies. I will pick up 4 subjects. The first one is just one slide. Actually, it's extremely hard. It's really extremely hard to find the right balance in delivering a great solution for a complex problem, but at the same time, keeping your solution as simple as possible. So what this gentleman said actually is really, really true. And I just can tell you that when we try to do our job, we always focus on to deliver an as easy but as powerful solution as can be. So if you encounter some, how to say, inefficiencies in our tool, or some places where we could optimize ourselves and deliver some more straightforward solution, I'm very happy to learn about that, because we firmly believe that focusing on being easy to understand, easy to train, easy to involve people, easy to be efficient, that's key going forward. The next subject what I want to talk about is artificial intelligence. It's the AI is a big trend in the industry, in the IT industry, and I think it will be really, really important, or it's getting to be very important in architecture as well. Buildings are getting more complex, more detailed, bigger and bigger. Modeling in terms of building information modeling, how we model information and the geometry, we are just putting in much more information, or we need to put in much more information to support the downstream processes. So how we can support that's a really, really critical going forward. And that is really in center of our strategies. If you can recall the last ArchiCAD version, then we made a pretty big development concerning stairs. And some could say that, okay, that's just a tool, the stair tool. Graphisoft, finally, you did something with the stair tool. That was old, that was not usable, and so on. I agree with you. And we have got many, many criticisms in the last, 10 years that why we don't touch it. We didn't touch it because we wanted to do it right. And we made pretty deep research that actually how we could do that in a way that will stand the requirements of the time, where the computer as a supercomputing power is really helping the design process. Because the stair is an extremely, extremely complex structure. Of course, this is a major design element in most of the buildings. The stair is in the center of everywhere. On the other hand, it's a very complex network of various parameters. You know the better that how many stairs, what are the different legislative requirements or your design requirements and so on. And you have to harmonize lots of parameters together. So we invested a lot of time and effort to figure out that how we could deliver some technology that is really helping this design process with intelligence. And this is where we came out some really revolutionary piece of technology that we patented as predictive design. Dealing with smart rules and trying to figure out that what our customers, what the user wants to accomplish. So that was the past. What about the future? In the morning, you have heard a lot about curtain walls. Curtain walls are very similar, very complex systems. And by the way, that's again an important design component, and we want to supply a great design solution. So we kind of apply the same technology what we developed for stair and adapted to the curtain wall, to our renewed, actually it's not renewed, it's a brand new curtain wall solution. So hopefully you will be very, very happy when you will touch this tool, in your daily work. The next subject that I want to bring up is algorithmic design, which I have a little bit of mixed feeling with those, because in one sense I'm a human being who really want to live in an environment where I can just feel the human touch. I personally don't want to live in a building that is printed by a big machine. On the other hand, I'm an IT guy as well, who understands well that providing housing for 8 billion people globally, supporting urbanization, we just have to go for different processes, and we just have to be much more productive. And for that, we have to deploy much more technologies, and we have to change our processes. So how algorithmic design can help that? Again, a couple of years ago, we started to think that actually how we can link the traditional design process when principals are using pens and paper and sketching, maybe some is using SketchUp or Rhino, and we build up the concept of the building, and then in a sequential process, the production starts. Then we take a robust software like ArchiCAD, and we develop the model in details, and we extract documentation, quantities, all of the values what BIM offers. But that is still a very traditional, very sequential process. First of all, this is slow. Second, that holds back a lot of people because from deploying BIM, because designers, architects want to be designers. And BIM, in many parts of the world, is associated with a production tool. That doesn't sound well for those who have creative minds. So in the last couple of years, we spent a lot of effort that how we could integrate the two and how we could eliminate that boundary from the sketchy design, creative process, and the production process. And of course, I do not agree that ArchiCAD is representing a production process. With ArchiCAD, we can be very creative as well, also in the sketching phase. But the industry is very heavily using SketchUp, Rhino, or any other tools. So what is our solution for this market segment? And then we came out with the idea that, okay, so how we could integrate the two, how we can make it more parallel. This is why we started up with the integration to Rhino and especially to Grasshoppers. Because then the very creative early design process will be very efficiently integrated to BIM. But so far it has been a one-way process. So it was only flowing, information was only flowing from the green to the blue. This year, I think the revolutionary innovation what we did, that we just made it an iterative process. So what you will experience when you get ArchiCAD 22 is that actually Rhino, Grasshoppers, and ArchiCAD is working side by side. You can touch the very same information either here or there. If you change a parameter in Grasshoppers, then the related geometry is changing in ArchiCAD. But if you go into ArchiCAD and you change with the standard tools that very geometry, then it modifies the parameter in the Rhino script. It's extremely efficient. Let me give you just one very interesting example that is a kind of prototype what deploying this piece of technology. Probably you remember that in Italy we had a big earthquake a couple of years ago. I think it was 2 years ago, and beautiful historic villages got down to the ground like this. It's really sad. And actually, these are really historic buildings back to the 17th century. So there is no documentation at all. We have just photos, and we have these stones, nothing else. So what we can do in order to reconstruct the beauty of these historic sites. So this is when University of the Sapienza University from Rome started to work with us and evaluate the technology that how we could make, what kind of efficient process we could follow to redesign, rebuild, to support the design and rebuild of these villages. So what information we had? We had point cloud in ArchiCAD. By the way, thanks for the point cloud presentation. Armin, where are you? Are you still here? It's outside probably. So what we did is that the whole site was scanned as a point cloud, brought it into ArchiCAD, and then in ArchiCAD, using the morph tool, we just built up the very schematic volume of the site based on the information what we get from the point cloud and from photos. And then there is the innovation coming. So what we did is that actually is that the deconstruct workflow in ArchiCAD, which brought up these shapes into walls, slabs, and windows, and we generate a Rhino script. And those scripting parameters will be associative. So based on this, ArchiCAD is automatically generating walls and windows, and those are flowing back to Rhino. And from this point of view, you can change the information anywhere. So you can play, for instance, with what is the tilting angle of a roof, how the overall site looks like when we put these different buildings side by side. It's extremely efficient, but most importantly, it is really scaling, because this is a fully automated process. You scan, the only thing what you have to do is just build up some high-level morph elements, and then afterwards the whole city is practically modeled automatically, and you as a designer, you just can play with the parameters. So it radically speeded up the process to get these villages back, not to the original, but kind of other beautiful stage. The last piece what I want to mention is a special project. The code name is Everest. And here we want to target two things. One is that the Nemetschek group as a whole has great solutions internally. Of course, we are full believers of OpenBIM. But even going beyond a little bit OpenBIM, we want to make much more customer-oriented workflows where we really streamline our solutions to support you who are working with multiple Nemetschek solutions. So that's one strategic goal. Another very important thing is that we just believe that how the industry is collaborating today, team working today, so how many people is working on the very same project is changing or will be changing quite fast. I just envision that for in 3, 4, 5 years from now, how the different design professionals do work together, that will be significantly different as it is today. So this project Everest is about that. Based on the Graphisoft BIM cloud, we build an ecosystem that builds an extremely aligned, tightly aligned workflow among the various Nemetschek solutions. And as I said, another strategic goal to come up with the next revolutionary innovation where we change how architects and engineers do work together. So let me spend a few minutes on these. If you remember that how architects were team working 20 years ago, then it was purely file-based, right? Somehow you agreed that how you split up the building. If you worked in AutoCAD that time, then probably you use the DWG file for every different floor. Or if you were already on ArchiCAD, then probably you used many module files or hotlink files, and you just put everything into different files, and you just somehow linked those. So that was the working method that Graphisoft challenged, and we came out with our Teamwork solution that time was a huge innovation. We challenged the industry that just forget that we work on a file-based. BIM should be one database, and all the project participants should work on the very same database. This is why we came out with our Teamwork solution that was ArchiCAD 5.1, if I remember, Who is in the room who is such a long-timer ArchiCAD user? ArchiCAD 5.1? Wow. Congratulations. Thanks. So then you remember that it really changed that how architects could work on the very same project. And then the next quantum leap was in 2009 when we came out with the Graphisoft BIM server, which the very same kind of vision, but a much, much more efficient way. So that means that actually you are in one project, and whatever element you touch, whatever element you want to work on, you just work on it. And there is no any conflict arising that two project members are touching the very same information. That was a real revolution. But I personally believe that it will not stand the requirements of time. And our vision is that the industry wants to go even further. And how the different professions do work together, that will advance, go down one more level. Just think about, let's say that if this is a structural wall or a structural column, then actually it is one column. Just think about that when you work together with your structural engineer, then in how many iterations you try to keep synchronized the very same model, right? There is a model here, there is a model there. In many iterations, we try to build it, we try to keep them in a synchronized way. But there is another way of working, and that is that the structure engineer is responsible for certain parts of that column, such as primarily the core. The architect, of course, is dealing with lots of parameters that is falling on only her responsibility. But of course, they share a few parameters as well, such as the location and size. So what if we actually could supply a technology that supports that workflow, that in a very controlled way, in a very assured way, our customers, I mean these professions, can touch different parameters of the building. Actually, it is very same how we develop software. 15, 20 years ago, when we had a problem, then it was a very sequential process. Business developers guys wrote an A4 document that what is the business goal. Then product managers created a more detailed product requirement document. Then designers, software designers created the interface mockup. Then it went to the software engineer, he did the coding, then the quality assurance guys to make sure that it is actually properly working. The problem with this is that 80% of software that is developed this way never got to customers. It's a shocking number, but this is true. It's real measurement. Actually, how we work today, they never got there because the information that actually what we have to deliver distorted very, very much. And the original user requirements just got lost. How we work today, if there is a problem, we just open a meeting room, and then on the very same table, we call a product manager, a product designer, a quality assurance guy, a software engineer, and they brainstorm together, and they work the same way. They work together during the whole project. So why we are not giving technology for the AEC industry to work the same way? I just built a house for myself, and I had an agreement with the architect that how my terrace should look like on the first floor. And after 2 months of design and dealing just with the functionality requirements, the general contractor told me that it's great, Viktor, it's a beautiful design, but it will cost you this amount of money. So then we had to take out some functionality requirements, but then it got ugly. So I had to choose as a client from bad and bad. And I could choose the best solution. So I think if we can supply technology that is helping you guys to work more collaboratively and faster, then maybe we are on the right track. So what we are going to do, that is in the design part of our workflow, we will come up with some disruptive workflows, and that is that within ArchiCAD, we will keep not just the architectural model, but all the information that is required to produce, to do structural analysis solutions, and also to provide the up to LOD 300, all the structural data that will keep tightly integrated and in a fully automatic way. So our envision is that we envision that there will be no need for further modeled application, but can work very efficiently in a very integrated way with any kind of analysis solutions. Again, this is the early design process. When we are getting to the more to the detailing phase, then the Graphisoft BIM Cloud will hold all of this information together as an open IFC, open BIM-based ecosystem, linking to the various detailing solutions, such as Tekla here, to do steel detailing, or our sister companies like Allplan to do reinforcement design, and so on. So since we have this data in a coordinated way, it will be very easy to go further and supply information for quality assurance, quality control processes. You can see that there are many Nemetschek solutions on this chart, but there are also many non-Nemetschek solutions on this chart. So we keep our DNA that we believe that we have to work on open standards. We have to be open and involving, sharing data. I think we have found the right way to do that. This project is going on for 3 years, and I think the first version will hit the market quite soon. So we are really excited. All of our reference customers that we are working together with so far are extremely excited. So I hope that will come to you soon as well. So my last slide is that I hope you love using our products and you love your profession as well, and we can support you in an efficient way. We really tied to Steve Jobs and all the kind of culture what Apple represents. We are very close to Apple. That's our root. So it is still a very, very strong cultural aspect of Graphisoft, that people are giving the heart for the product, and I hope that you recognize it. I just promise you that we keep innovating, and hopefully we will meet each other next year on the same conference. Thank you very much.